and you've been sort of also urging industry to become more competitive, Indian industry. So you opened so many markets. Will industry now follow? What are they saying?
See, I am very
What is
convinced.
your expectation?
You saw
Why
the
aren't they
Honorable
following?
Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Right from 2014, he's been stressing on quality. In 14, he gave the mantra of Z, zero effect, zero defect. So much so that in his Man Ki Baat also, he spoke about quality. In the Parliament, first day opening remarks, he spoke about. Honorable Prime Minister understands that we have to become a developed nation. We have to have high quality standards. Brand India should speak for itself. And I'm in continuous dialogue with Indian industry under Honorable Prime Minister's guidance and with his support to encourage them to adopt global standards, encourage them to make sure that any product made in India, both for the Indian consumer, who have a right to good quality, as much as for the global market. What we want to see is those old days when the Congress was in power, when you went to a shop, you would say, "Arey bhai, jara export quality maal dikhana." Because unfortunately they had institutionalized, particularly through their opening of the Indian market for influx of goods from countries which had substandard quality production. You used to look for an export quality if you wanted good quality. What we wish to see is an India where you go to the market and you see any product and it's high quality.
So let me ask you this, because some of the deals that we've done now with UK and so forth, and you yourself said that FTAs look at the future. You're now going to go to Canada, for instance, and others. With UK, you brought on a lot more. It wasn't just a trade deal. So with Canada and Chile and some other countries that we're going to, I'm not going to say they're smaller economies and this, that, the other, but obviously India is going to be growing. We're going to become gigantic in 10 years, 15 years. What is the X factor that comes to the table?
See, try to understand. As I explained, we used the first 6 years to strengthen our position, so much so that we could now negotiate from a position of strength. Our earlier free trade deals, we were so weak that we would actually give more than we got. And we were not able to really understand India's own strength, the strength of 1.4 billion Indians. 140 crore Indians full of youthful energy, aspiration, talent, skill. This is today our biggest strength. The fact that from a 4 trillion we are going to become a 30 or 35 trillion dollar economy brings us a delta of opportunity, such a huge opportunity that we offer to the counterparty and we say, this is what I have. You remember that old Diwar dialogue? Mere paas maa hai.
Yes. Yeah.
Meri maa aaj 140 crore deshwasi hai. And that strength, when I bring that to the table, I'm able to negotiate a much better and stronger deal. And it's always holistic. With Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Iceland and Norway, I said, your economy, your people are so few. Economy is small. Even after 20 years, you will be a much smaller economy than India. So commit me $100 billion FDI. They can't put it into the stock market and say we've done it.
Yeah.
Foreign direct investment of 100 billion is 9 lakh crores. If they have Indian partners, another maybe 9 lakh crores.
So with Canada and Chile, what are you looking at?
The ecosystem goes, you are seeding a 50 lakh crore investment. You're seeding lakhs and lakhs of jobs. With New Zealand, the same story. You know, New Zealand in 25 years has invested only $70 million. Today's exchange rate, 630 crores. And what have they committed in the next 15 years? $20 billion. 630 crores in 25 years, 1,80,000 crores in the next 15 years. Why? Because India is the emerging superpower. They can see that in front of their eyes.
So with EU, now look, every trade deal has a price. We know this. What was the hardest concession India had to make to close this agreement, sir?
None whatsoever. Every area that we have opened up has been very well thought through, deep consultations with our stakeholders, calibrated approach to opening up, to give enough transition time for Indian industry, but with the ultimate objective that if India is to become a developed nation, we need to compete with the best in the world, and we have the ability to do it.
But we're also at the same time looking at Atmanirbharta, production at home. There are critics who are saying that, look, European automakers, premium brands will get easy access to India. How do you ensure Indian manufacturers aren't uncut in this exchange?
It's only weaklings who think that way. I'll tell you how our government thinks. Take the auto industry, since you mentioned the auto as a specific example. What have we done? We've opened up to 8 existing traditional automakers a quota which will grow from probably 100,000 cars to 250,000 cars in the next 14 years. Even today, we sell 50 lakh cars, 5 million cars. In the next 14 years, this is going to grow to probably 150 million cars, at least. At that point of time, it will be 2.5 lakh cars. 1.5 crore ke samne 2.5 lakh gaadiyan is the quota. Even in that quota, 90% of Indian market is under 20 lakhs, between 10 to 20 lakhs. We have protected cars on the road up to 25, 30 lakhs, which are just not being opened. So 15,000 euro ICE engine, combustion engine, and 20,000 euro electric engine, zero quota. So 90% of my market is just exclusively for Indian producers. Even in the high-end luxury cars which we've opened up with different segments having a quota, it will be diversified with between 8 automakers. And I've talked to all of them, both in Europe and their representatives in India. They said we can never compete with India in actual manufacturing. What we need is an opening to test the market. I suppose Mercedes makes 4 models. They'd like to introduce those 4 models and test which is the one that suits the Indian palate, where they see a potential, or where their manufacturing in India could give them an India market, and they could export to Latin America, to Africa, to other Asian countries. And then they'll manufacture in India, getting the benefits of economies of scale and selling. With their labor costs, with shipment costs, the voluminous cars, with all of that put in, how can they ever compete with the Indian manufacturer? Are you aware India today exports $9 billion of automobiles? How much are we importing? 900 million, 1/10. We are already a large exporter and we'll continue to grow our exports. I've got a quota 2.5 times for zero duty export to European Union. 625,000 cars against 250,000. So we are very carefully doing the transactions. Even the European car makers understand. Long run, they want to come and manufacture in India. One automaker, one of the most prominent companies in Europe, met me 3 days before we signed the deal. And they were explaining to me, they said, even today, we import 11,000 crores. But we also buy 1,000 crores of parts from India. We buy 3,000 crores of parts, which we export back to Germany and other plants of ours. And we have a GCC, which earns 8,000 crores of revenue through the services side. So net, we are a gainer with their coming to India rather than losing out.
You've elaborated on this point and it's wonderful to hear you expound on it, but I have to ask you a question. You've used a phrase, owners envy neighbors' pride, or the other way around. Neighbors envy owners' pride. Okay. So who are you talking about? We're already seeing countries like Turkey, etc., sort of looking at this and wondering where they missed out. This has been seen as something that you've done, which has cut out a lot of...
On a lighter note, remembering the old Onida ad, one feels that 140 crore Indians today...
No, but you've cut out a lot of geography.
Well, I think today